Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to deconstruct one of the most famous, most heavily quoted, and honestly, profoundly misunderstood texts in human history. We're going to see exactly how taking just a single sentence out of its historical setting can completely change its meaning. And on the flip side, how putting it back into context transforms it from a cheap slogan into something incredibly profound. So here is the text in question. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Philippians 4:13. Now, if you've been anywhere near modern culture, you know exactly how we treat this quote, right? It's treated like a literal spiritual power-up. We kind of act as if this means that if we just believe hard enough, we're guaranteed to win the championship game, ace the final exam, or absolutely crush those massive career goals we've set. It's really framed as though the divine is our own personal secret strength booster for achieving worldly success. Take a second to really think about this. Where have you personally seen this verse? Has it been painted in massive, bold letters on a gym wall? Or maybe plastered across a motivational workout t-shirt? Or cited during some legendary sports moment by an athlete who wrote it on their shoes? I mean, it is literally everywhere. We use it as this instant motivational booster shot. I'd actually love for you to drop a comment below with your experiences. What's the most surprising place you've seen this quote used as a hype mantra? And well, this perfectly illustrates the exact problem we're dissecting today. We see this modern success formula that we've constructed around the text. You take intense belief, add the specific verse, and boom, the guaranteed result equals I win. We've completely turned faith into this transactional fuel that supposedly guarantees victory, achievement, and basically getting exactly what we want out of life. But what happens when we strip away all that modern marketing and look for the actual historical meaning? Section 1. Finding the missing context. To unlock the truth of this text, we can't just isolate one exciting sentence that makes us feel good. We have to ask a really fundamental question. What was the writer actually talking about? We have to look at the surrounding environment of the words. And the incredible thing here is, we don't even have to look very far. A mere 2 sentences prior, just verses 11 and 12, contain the master key to completely flipping the meaning of this famous quote right on its head. Let's see what the author Paul was actually saying right before he dropped that famous line. He writes, I have learned to be content whatever the circumstances, whether well-fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or in want. Now, what's really interesting about this is the dramatic, almost jarring shift in focus. He isn't talking about achieving massive goals. He's not talking about winning a race or being victorious in some battle. He is talking about simply surviving extreme hardship and finding a way to exist in really difficult conditions. Let's define the core concept Paul is building his whole argument around here, which is contentment. In this specific historical context, contentment is defined as the ability to be at complete peace in any and every situation. Whether you are full or starving, whether you have absolutely everything or you have absolutely nothing. That is the all things he's referencing. When he says a moment later, I can do all things, the things he's talking about is maintaining a deep inner peace during both extreme highs and devastating lows.
Section 2, written from a prison cell.
Okay, here is the historical bombshell that shifts our entire perspective for this explainer. We have to abruptly step away from that high-energy locker room motivation. Because at the exact moment these words were written, the author was locked in a physical cell, bound in chains, and very possibly facing his own execution. I want you to really visualize that for a second. This text was not penned by a man riding an incredible winning streak, celebrating a fresh victory. It was written by a man who had been stripped of literally everything in a worldly sense. He was sitting in darkness.
Section 3. Strength to endure, not win.
So let's look at this profound contrast we've uncovered. On one side, we have the gym poster promise, the idea that Christ will help me win. But on the other side, we have the profound historical prison cell promise, that Christ will hold me steady no matter what I lose. Do you see how vastly different those two ideas are? One is a pretty superficial promise of success that relies completely on changing your circumstances. The other is a deep, life-altering promise of inner endurance despite your circumstances.
Section 4. Decoding your hardest moments.
So how do we actually use this framework during those difficult seasons of unasked for loss? Because we all face them, right? Maybe a promotion you desperately wanted falls through, or a long-term relationship abruptly ends. Or maybe the physical or emotional healing you've been waiting for is just agonizingly slow. Our source material outlines 3 really practical takeaways here. Number 1, this text is designed for your hardest moments, not just your ambitious ones. It's a lifeline when you are at rock bottom. Number 2,
The promise is about finding peace in your circumstances, not the power to automatically change them. Paul didn't say he was getting broken out of prison. He said he had peace while stuck inside it. And number 3, power comes from leaning, not your own willpower. So the crucial point is this. The strength referenced here isn't something you manufacture by just believing hard enough or hyping yourself up. It's something you receive by letting go and leaning on something greater than yourself. To give you a clear view of our foundation today, the analysis we're exploring originates from Bible Decoded, which is a book and a channel dedicated to systematically putting misunderstood verses back into their true context. They operate on this really compelling thesis. While we repeat famous verses for years on shirts and posters, looking at the real history and context transforms them from potentially confusing mantras into genuinely life-changing anchors of understanding. Because here's the harsh reality. That motivational poster version of this verse, it completely fails you the very second you don't win. If you lose the game or fail the test, the out-of-context version leaves you feeling like, well, you just didn't have enough faith. But the real historical context offers this beautiful reassurance. You can endure this, not because you are strong enough on your own, but because you are supported. It means that whatever heavy burden you are facing right now, you are not expected to carry it entirely on your own manufactured strength. As our source material so beautifully summarizes, that's not motivation. That's a lifeline. I want to leave you with a question today. Think about what challenging circumstances you are facing right now. If seeing the historical context of this famous quote gave you a new perspective, type the word strength in the comments, or feel free to share what specific situations you need endurance for today. It just goes to show how much we can completely miss when we only skim the surface of history. Makes you wonder, what other famous quotes have we been getting completely wrong all this time? Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Stay curious, and I'll see you in the next one.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to the explainer. Today, we're going to deconstruct one of the most famous, most heavily quoted, and honestly profoundly